I don't know how to start off YouTube videos. It's different than starting off the stream. Blech.
Well, you gotta have an intro.
Welcome in, bitches! Anyway. Oh no.
That's the way to start it off.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me try that again. Fuck. I could say, like, welcome in, kittens! It's Cat Mom! I guess. I'm calling them all kittens. Ooh.
No.
How
no.
my pretty kitties. I'm calling them kittens. Fuck.
I mean, you could just.
Yes,
I mean,
this is a
you just
perfect
start the
intro.
recording. You don't have to have like a whole intro. Like, what's up, guys? Like,
What's up, guys?
no.
Manly badass hero here. Shit, wait.
Yeah, like,
it doesn't sound
you
like
don't need to
him
do
at
a
all.
whole fucking intro.
No, just welcome in, kittens. Because when I add people into my server, what role do they get?
Kitten,
Kitten.
I believe.
Yeah. All
Cats.
yeah, they're my cats, my kittens. Welcome in, kittens. Nya, is Cat Mom here? Nya nya.
Oh, God.
Man, you started this.
Yeah,
This all is staying in. This all is staying in, by the way.
Oh, how pleasant. It's just like the word kitten in general immediately reminds me of Discord kitten. Like
hey, my little Discord kittens. No,
Yeah.
that'd be like, hey, my little YouTube kittens.
No, we're
This
not
is a
going there. I will
big
literally use call
intro.
immediately.
all of this stays in.
Fucking better not.
It's all staying in. So today we're going to go over, even though we already officially made this list and we have to recreate this bullshit, we three idiots have decided which Dead by Daylight killer is the best Dead by Daylight killer.
And the worst.
And naturally the worst. Okay, calm down.
Pretty much we put all the killers in a whole all-out brawl free-for-all against each other and see who would just come out on top.
Kind of. So
Kind of. We separated them into different groups.
Yeah. So we have 4 groups because we decided that certain people, it wouldn't be fair to have them just go up against other ones.
Yeah, because like, it's not fair to put the fucking pig against like Nemesis, who is a fucking bioweapon. Just doesn't. I don't think that's gonna end up very well.
Yeah. And so the groups that we have here are human-based killers, are human plus killers, are OP bitches, which are basically like damn near godlike killers. And then we have our ghosts, which are the dead people.
And to clarify, human plus is just they are pretty much human with extra like
With
powers to them. Yeah, pretty much with just powers, like superheroes, but kill everyone.
And so what we first decided was we're going to separate the killers into those groupings. And then we are going to compare each killer within their groupings. And after we collected the rankings on that, we then went and had them duke it out between the top 4 to get our final killer. And then we just added a little spice at the end there and put the worst killer up against the strongest killer. And some unexpected results. Someone is salty about it.
All these results are about as dumb as this list is gonna be.
Listen.
Yeah.
Shut up. God damn
We're not supposed to know that yet.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, I guess we just start off by listing off who's in each category then, and then we'll go back to the ghosts and then all the way to the OP bitches, I'm assuming.
So we're my brain stopped working because I was trying to remember a rhyme. I was remembering, what was it? Roses are red. Wow.
Violets are blue. You're gonna die.
She really didn't focus.
Roses are red. What was it again? Now that's all I care about. Give me a fucking second. I got this. Roses are red. Life ain't no fun. Get in the van. I have a gun. There we go.
What the fuck?
Don't worry about it. Anywho. God damn it. Don't worry about it. Our human tier is literally they're just people. They're just people there. Don't worry about it. And so...
They're just people with weapons.
Yeah, some
much.
people with weapons. I suck at organizing this paper now that I'm reading it back. Okay, so in the human category we have Trapper, Hillbilly, Bubba, the cannibal, the Pig, the Clown, Legion, Ghostface, Deathslinger, Twins, and Trickster. Because they're all just people with weapons.
And now in this scenario, we also put Legion as the full 4 people.
Yes, a full 4
Not
Legion
just one.
force, not just one, and not that one Blight Serum cosmetic. You know the one. Yeah, that one. Anyway, so on our bottom tier for the human list is Ghostface.
Shocker.
Number 10 is Ghostface. Yes. So we put Ghostface against pretty much everyone else we thought was reasonable. And the next one we decided was Pig. And so Ghostface versus Pig, they both just have knives, essentially.
Yeah, and it pretty much just came down to one simple factor as to why Ghostface would lose to the Pig. Hence why we ranked her just 1 tier above him.
We decided that Ghostface could potentially be disarmed.
Yeah, since the Pig's knife is kind of pretty much built into its hand, while the Ghostface is just a regular combat knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a person carrying a knife.
Just like that mugger from down the street. You know.
Okay.
And he knows you exist, so keep that in mind. Anyway, so above Ghostface and Pig, we have the Twins, because Victor's is not doing any sort of service, not helping in any way.
Yeah, against most of everyone else, Victor is nothing much more than a slight nuisance.
He's
if
a kickable nuisance.
Anything else, yeah.
Perfect punting
But
size.
that's really it. Okay.
Okay.
And then Charlotte's just Charlotte. They don't really defend themselves. They'll defend themselves, but they don't have any real, fighting experience, I guess you can say. They're just trying to live their life, and they'll only fight people if they're trying to bother them.
Yeah.
Hence, I don't feel... If they were to be forced into an all-out brawl against, in this case, all the other humans, I don't feel like they would put up much of an issue unless it was, Ghostface or Pig.
In all honesty, let's take in consideration her weapon is a goddamn hook. Giant hook, mind you.
Yeah.
And a
That's
frying
true.
pan, and everyone knows a frying pan is the best weapon on Earth. So I mean, worst case scenario, you're gonna get beaten to death by a cast iron frying pan.
Yeah, but I feel like the hook would do more regardless.
That's what you think until you get the frying pan in the head.
Ah.
So we all agreed that these 3 probably wouldn't be faring too much better against Clown and his tonics. So Clown is next, because goddamn, those fucking clowns suck.
Well, to be fair, the Clown is just a basic human with bottles, and those bottles, as far as I'm concerned, he is completely immune to, but no one else is.
Yeah, it fucks with your eyes, it fucks with your lungs. He can make himself slightly faster, and you're not going to think about running into that other fucking cloud, because why would you? It's going to be awful.
Yeah, it's a whole ordeal.
Poor Victor's lungs, by the way.
I don't think Victor has lungs, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
I'm sorry?
I don't... not in the sense of, he doesn't have lungs. I just don't think it would affect him as
Victor
much.
doesn't have lungs.
No, Victor canonly does not have
You heard
lungs
it
now.
here.
Yeah,
Everyone, you heard it here. Victor doesn't have lungs.
Probably
Okay.
still does, but I doubt they work.
Oh my god. So the next up from the Clown is Trickster. Yeah. A human with
Yeah.
knives. Isn't that
Isn't that a step
strange?
up? Well,
Well,
the reasoning being that he has range, so he doesn't have to be in the cloud at all.
yes.
And on top of that, he's much more mobile than the fucking Clown.
We decided that he would be over the Clown in the sense that he is a K-pop star. So he has to be
No.
physically fit.
Oh.
Yes! What do you mean, no?
Because I thought you were it's just because he's a K-pop star.
Oh
No
my
other
God.
reason. It's just because he's a K-pop star.
Yes,
I'm like,
it's just
Yeah.
because he's a K-pop.
Fucking goddamn it. Okay, whatever. It's just because he's a K-pop star now. Fuck it.
No.
He has ranged attack, and he is going to be more agile and be able to run away better, and be just faster in general than the Clown himself. That being said, the next step up is Deathslinger, because who doesn't like harpoon gun?
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
His basic weapon is was pretty much a rifle with a spear at the end of it. Reels you in, slaps you. Simple as that.
Yeah, and I think the Trickster could try to stay away, but
I don't think he could. He would have to be extremely far ranged if he wants to get outside of the range of the rifle, and I don't think he would land as many blades.
Exactly.
That
So
rifle,
he's gonna be
Shoot
stuck. I
pretty
mean,
far.
he also has a baseball bat, but I mean, like, we
Yeah,
only
but
took into account the knives.
Yeah, and I guess you could argue that he can be more agile, but I feel like Deathslinger is more experienced with his rifle, so I feel like he can catch something moving faster than he
almost definitely.
is perceiving. Yeah.
So next up we have the entire Legion squad. We think Legion could kick beat the shit out of Deathslinger.
Well, it's because
You
we
have
didn't
all
want to
four
just
of them.
a single Legion member. It is a full man group of 4. Well,
Oh, just men? It's just men?
Just
and
men.
members.
Oh my god. Okay.
Wow, FireJack.
Be a little more
females
progressive,
and
goddammit.
2 males better.
Female.
But
God
yeah,
damn
pretty much
it.
they would just outnumber and outpower the Slinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last 3, the top 3 we have, was a doozy to try to figure out. So
Oh yeah.
the next one up is Bubba. Because of fucking course it's Bubba the cannibal.
It's a chainsaw.
It's a chainsaw! Plus
Now-
doesn't he like
Golden Squad
canonically
is
take out a bunch of teenagers or whatnot?
He does, but the issue was with the help of his family, and I think okay. Now hear me out. We did make the argument
now
that
you're changing up.
well, because I'm doubting it now because the more I was thinking about it, the more I was looking back to the films and things. Bubba isn't really much of doing stuff. Like he went after people who are defenseless that have no real like experience, I guess you can say. Like
Yep.
they're just defenseless. They have nothing to defend themselves with.
Yeah,
Hence why
I
he's able to
understand
kill
that. Stop, we're not changing
There was
this just
no
because of you.
I was trying to give the Illusion benefit out. They would just outsmart him since he's not really well.
So what could our second place possibly be, right? Well, it's the other chainsaw killer. Boom, didn't see that one coming, huh? Yeah, we had
No.
a really hard time trying to figure out which chainsaw killer would be better. And
Yeah.
it ended up we just put them up against our last killer and kind of judged off of that. So
Yeah.
in our first place spot is Trapper. Trapper is the best among the humans, in our opinion.
And it's due to the fact that he is very durable, like extremely durable, more durable than an average human,
He
as
has
indicated by his own
yeah,
fucking body.
yeah. He has a
Pokes
bunch of
pierced to the
shit.
shoulder.
I don't know. I think 4 people can
Oh my god.
outsmart him.
Stop. Stop.
Can't have an
Legion isn't
opinion for
moving up. So we decided amongst the 2 of them, the hillbilly and the cannibal, that Billy would be better than Bubba because Billy just canonly has a lot more shit going on. So
Yeah,
who's more versed in the Billy lore to
I-
bring this point forward?
I
Bye,
follow.
FireJack.
It's FireJack.
Through his whole lore, he's been through a lot of shit, trauma and everything. Hence, probably being a main factor why he's never able to. He's going to beat the Trapper since, in terms of trauma, in sense of it being affecting them in a fight, I think Trappers has less than Hillbillies. And even then, it's only vaguely suggested for Trapper than it is Hillbillies. Hillbillies is stated in his lore how much shit he's been through, to the point where he was forced to kill, I forget, I think a pig or something, in front of the police force and his father for fun and jokes, and he just kind of snapped, and he pretty much was able to kill an entire police force, or somewhat of an entire police force, and his father and his mother with his, I believe, his bare hands or with some type of weapon. I don't quite remember. It's still a little vague in my head. And he's extremely durable. Like I said, same thing with like Trapper. He's tough skinned. He can't be taken down very easily with just a simple whack.
And so
So-
that's where the second part of Trapper's thing comes in, which is, of course, the bear traps. We decided that we don't really think Bubba's going to be able to handle the bear traps better than Billy. And
No.
Billy already has a noticeable and horrendous limp. And so one leg is really taking on all that labor. All Trapper really has to do is try to get that other leg, and the hillbilly's probably not going to have a good time.
No, and also he has his own perk on Enduring, which I also try to bring in as a factor since it negates stuns and things like that. I just assumed it would be like the same thing in general for his whole character, where it would just be like he can tank more things than an average person, just
Yeah.
like Trapper.
But the question is, that was brought up originally as well was, would he be able to get himself out of the bear trap without causing more harm to himself? And we decided probably not.
Yeah.
Like, probably fucking not. We
No.
just don't think he'd be able to disarm the bear trap, like, efficiently enough to not cause more harm to him, to give that, and in a way that would not give the trapper more of an advantage.
If anything, he would probably brute force through the trap at most, and even then that would still cause him problems. And who knows, maybe Billy is smart enough to be able to disarm the trap, but if he's going to be like in the same way, if he's going to be like Bloodlust Billy, where he's not going to have any real train of thought what's going on around him, and he's just going to kill, I doubt he's actually like aware enough to be like, oh, I can just remove this trap off my leg with my hands.
Yeah.
So
plus, even taking out the bear trap properly with your hands, that leaves him completely disarmed.
Yeah.
Trapper could come up behind him while is trying to free himself, and then boom, still an advantage for the trapper. And so that's why we put trappers as the top of the human tier.
Yeah.
But going forward, we're going to talk about the human plus tier next. So human plus has the lovable, as always, Hag, followed by Wraith, Doctor, the Huntress, the Plague, woo, Demodago, Blight, and the Artist.
Now, there's two things I would like to address: Huntress and Demodago. Just because, like, I feel like you could, like I tried making the argument that Huntress would be more human than human plus, and then Demodog is, well, not human.
So what we felt was fair was, instead of Doggo going up a tier, he would just probably be a bit OP for everyone else. Whereas the Huntress, we also gave her more credit for, taking on a whole fucking army. But since you want to jump everything and not let us do shit in order, thank you. Son of a...
Well,
Actually, wait, I also want to bring up something, too.
So, we decided on our bottom tier 8th spot is Hag, because fuck Hag. She literally looks like she's built out of twigs. I don't know, man.
Well,
she
can
put down traps, but we don't know what other sort of runes and whatnot she actually knows. So we can't judge on how beneficial they'll be in a fight.
Especially against other people who have, like, superhuman strength and all that. Like, we can't really tell what those runes are going to do to them.
We just don't think she would fare very well against everyone else on this list. So, automatic bottom spot. But above Hag is the Plague. She has projectile vomit, which can get everyone sick. But it doesn't seem to really help with this lineup.
No, not really, since let's say it's the same thing as what initially was in her lore, the Black Plague initially. And let's say that's what she pukes out, just a more condensed and physical version of the Black Plague. I don't think it would be an instant, like, effect. Or maybe it will, since it is physical. But I feel like compared to everyone else on this list, I don't feel like it would matter too much. Since if a human being can just be simply injured by it, or just be minorly inconvenienced by it, other than the red puke, I guess.
I mean, it's like literally any of these killers catching a cold. Is it really going to change the fact that they want to kill you? No.
Nope.
It's a minor inconvenience because they might be puking on you while they murder you, but no, it wouldn't really do anything. Probably beat the Hag though. She already looks like she's having a hard time. And so then we reach our 6th spot, which is Wraith. His ability is just to be able to cloak and uncloak.
No, that's what brings up with our 5th spot being the Artist.
Oh yeah.
I think actually the Wraith could beat the Artist.
It's possible. But we did have a whole thing as well. Yeah, that was a whole other thing as well. We were having a whole debate whether the Artist would be able to defeat the Wraith, or if the Wraith would be able to defeat the Artist.
Well, I mean, once again, we are doing more than just he can cloak, that's great, but all she has to do is put down her birds, and if he runs into them, even cloaked, the effect is to be able to track. So, I mean, he has to either just avoid having those birds flung at him, or he has to avoid running into them. Which, I mean, he might be able to, but he's like physically invisible, but you can still hear him. So.
Yeah.
Or you can still see him from a certain distance. So then all she needs to do is just be able to counter that. He would have an element of surprise until she figured out he could cloak. But these two are really just pretty close in comparison. We weren't going to say that the artist has a huge advantage over the Wraith. We just felt at the time, apparently not anymore, that the ability to launch and have range and be able to track was a little better than just being able to go invisible.
Well, I am curious though. Why do you think that the Wraith could beat the artist then, Nevin?
Because the whole invisible thing, and he could have a silent bell. So even then, artists would have to be on top of it 24/7. Would not have any downtime to basically put crows down. If he can just surprise her as she's putting down the crows.
Provided he knows where she is.
Yeah.
So we're just assuming they know where each other are.
I mean, at the time, yeah.
At the time. I mean, if we didn't have the limitation of you not being able to hit anyone while you're invisible, then I could see why Wraith would beat the artist.
Yeah.
So like I said, it seems like it's pretty close between the two. If you guys really want to shuffle them around, you can debate about it fucking because we were also not only making the decisions on who would beat climbing up, but we also backtracked saying, do you think the plague would beat the artist? Do you think the hag would beat the artist? As we were going through this. And we were trying to figure out between the artist and Wraith who would beat the next one up, which is the Huntress. So, I mean, it is a little hard to say. The Huntress took on a fucking army, like a literal fucking army.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. She's a trained markswoman with her hatchets. So, I mean, once again, Wraith might be able to, provided he could attack while invisible, but she would also probably see him a mile away as he's, stomping on all the twigs in the forest.
Yeah, she has very much more high senses from her living in the forest by herself. And she's, just more advanced in hunting. So if it's in the terms of trying to sneak up on her, I doubt she would let it happen very easily.
Which is where the artist's longer range attack of the birds might be able to give her a little more benefit than the Wraith, which is why we put artist above the Wraith.
Yeah.
Like I said, it could be, debatable to switch them, but when we compare them to, like, the other killers we try to tier up, that's why we landed them where they were. Not just how they would be against just one, but also in comparison to the others. And so next up, we have Blight. We think Blight would beat the Huntress. He is fast. Boy is goo. So, I mean, I think he would just give the Huntress a run for her money. It could be really hard to actually track him properly.
Yeah, with the speed behind him.
Yeah, but then we've also talked about his own downfall, which was that he had to take time to stab himself with his vials every so often to keep himself stable.
Yeah, and so he does have a pretty sizable handicap in that sense, that he does need to be able to inject himself with his apparently infinite amount of vials. It's questionable. How many does he actually have,
Those vials, probably, if I had to say, he probably has enough for, let's say it's just an all-out brawl, he probably have enough for the whole thing. I doubt he would just have only a limited amount.
His jacket's lined with them.
Probably.
No doubt.
Who knows?
But we don't think Blight or the Huntress would really fare too well against the Doctor, which is our second spot. Because he has that ranged attack for electricity, it can really fuck with your mind, obviously, but it also interrupts certain actions. It
pretty much has multiple uses for just a single thing. On top of that, he can hit, and let's just say, since it would be an all-out brawl, it would be multiple against, or all of them against each other, he has, his giant blast, so he can cover more people at once. Or if you're trying to, avoid just a forward shock, or just a shock, forwards, or for him to just touch you or something like that, he just has a shockwave, so no matter if you try to avoid it, he will hit you no matter what. And then, like Neko said, it has various effects, from illusions to misdirections, from noises to just straight fucking with your mind. And then also just as well as interrupting abilities. So it would probably fuck with Huntress's aim, most likely, and then maybe Blight's perception of where he's going. So he might end up like, I don't know, crashing instead of bumping into a wall, or he'll just get fucked in general midway through his dash.
And once again, you don't like the way we tiered everything out, you can fight us on it. It's not like we're gonna change your mind. Well, except these two. These two can change their mind. I'm pretty fucking firm on this list. I think it's good.
We can tell.
Fucking hell. Well, I mean, unless you want to debate our number one spot of Doggo.
Well, no,
No.
Doggo.
Doggo's
really.
always-
Doggo sits at the top of our list because we don't really think the shocks are going to have an outstanding effect on Doggo. Not really.
Not really. Since the only things that really affect him are things that slash, like things that are very sharp and that slash through his body, or just straight up fire. In terms of just normal things that can take him out.
And
Like very standard things.
Considering the Doctor carries around what is essentially just a baseball bat, so blunt force, and then he has electricity, which doesn't seem to do any like outstanding physical damage. We just think Doggo would take it home.
Well, yeah,
Stick as well, also play fetch.
clearly.
Clearly.
Doggo in general is just a whole brute force of a creature. It doesn't really care what is going on or what sustainable damage it has taken. It will just brute force its way through everything. And hell, it might be able to regenerate its health or regenerate its like body like wounds, but I'm not quite sure on that one. So we'll just leave that factor out.
Yeah. And so, we're gonna go to our next tier up, which are the ghosts. We have our ghosts as Nurse, Freddy, Spirit, Oni, and Sadako. They're the Onryo for people who don't know Sadako as Sadako. This one was really easy to try to figure out, to be perfectly honest, when we set some basic rules. Freddy is our bottom tier. He just is. He needs fear. And if we're talking on the more astral, fucking spiritual plane, I mean, what is there to really fear? I don't think any of our contenders really fear very much at all. Thus, there's no way to feed his power. He's literally just a dude with OPI vibes.
Sure. I mean, there is a couple of killers that do have their fears in their own backstories. But in terms of it being in the moment, I don't know if it would have much of effect during the battle at all.
Plus, they have to be asleep. How many of these fuckers actually sleep?
Well, they're all practically dead, so I don't think they do.
Exactly. Based on that, we just kind of put Freddy at the bottom. Freddy the bitch baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not that a lot of people like Freddy anyway. Anyway, next up is Sadako. Yeah.
The literal spirit rage, whatever it's called. I forget.
Onryo is a spirit made out of like a traumatic death and anger.
Fair.
Which, I mean, being thrown in a well to live for the rest of her life and die would make me fucking angry. Anyway, Sadako doesn't really have anything other than her own fingies. So we don't really think she would contend any better against anyone else on this list. I mean, we also
really.
kind of agreed they're all ghosts. What the fuck's gonna happen to them? But
yeah, but in terms of we would still like do something, and then with the whole condemn, just it's nothing. It doesn't do.
It doesn't really do anything for other spirits.
No.
Speaking of spirits, that's our next one up. It's the spirit.
Spirit herself.
So she has a sword. That's pretty cool.
True.
Yeah, but that's about it.
She has a sword, and she can walk around away from what is basically her husk for a short amount of time, and that's about it. So if we put her up against our number 2 spot, Nurse, I mean, they have similar abilities, except Spirit is, for some odd reason, not able to go through solid objects, and the Nurse can blink through them.
Well, like we said, she just goes practically invisible and leaves a husk behind for a short brief period of time. And with Nurse, we've discussed that she goes into a realm of her own fucking distinction. Like, she goes into her own, like, I guess, dimension, you can say. Like another parallel area where she just can phase through walls. Or, I guess, in this case, teleport through walls.
Spiffy. So, I mean, like, if we all gave all of these more spiritual beings the ability to walk through walls, it's hard to say. But our number 1 spot being Oni makes sense because boy's strong as fuck.
He is an
Yeah.
experienced samurai from his own age, and then on top of that, like I said, just strong as fuck.
Yeah, everyone else kind of just
Against-
flails around with whatever they picked up, whereas Oni has training, conditioning, and everything. And a
Yeah.
burning spirit. A burning, fighting, killing spirit. Everything we love. I love Oni. Don't worry about it. Anyway, that being said, that is our ghost tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Great group of people. Love them all. And so, our top tier, damn near deity looking asses, are OP bitches.
Indeed.
Go ahead. You can say OP bitches. I'll allow it.
OP bitches.
I know you wanted to say it, but it's mine.
I wanted to say it, but you took it from me. I can't have anything in this fucking metaphysical dimension anymore.
Hey,
Nope,
now I'm
you
letting you
can't.
talk. That's all you can get.
What the fuck?
I mean, we could prevent that from happening too, though.
Did I not fulfill
Yeah.
your request in putting something on a shelf? That's what you did.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Apologies for me stepping out of line, My Highness. Apologies.
Yeah, no. Now we gotta get Nevin to say it. Go ahead.
Nope.
Good. Anyway, on our OP bitches is basically, like I said, deity-esque killers, which includes Myers, Dorito Daddy, also known as Pyramid Head, in case anyone really cares. Dorito Daddy. Nevin the Nemesis.
Son of a bitch!
I was like, I still can't believe I wrote that down. It's Sinnoh bitch.
Also known as the Cenobites or Pinhead.
And then Dredge. This one was very hard because of how all of them fucking are. Also,
Well, it was
you
hard
were
towards the
wondering
end.
why Myers is
The
up
top
there on the
tiers.
top. If any of you are wondering why Myers is anywhere near OP bitches, delve into his lore just a little bit. You'll see.
Yeah. In terms of DVD lore, not.
Anyway,
Well, most-
Just his lore in general.
his
Yeah, I know
in
it's lore general, but specifically, forget it.
Don't worry about it. Man casually walks and murders people. Can't die himself. Let's go. So our bottom tier, this will piss someone off, is Sinnoh bitch. Yeah,
There he
exactly
is.
where he needed to be.
Listen. We're still saying how he would have to be summoned just to be in this fight.
True, since he doesn't really just show up on his own volition.
So someone has to actually pick up a box and summon him in our little understanding of how he fucking works, which is how he works, by the way. And so most of these killers won't bother to play with a fucking box. We do have a theory on who would, though.
It would be Myers, just
Definitely
for the
Myers.
fucks of it.
Just for the fucks of it. So if Cinnabite even got the invitation, that's kind of our hinging point. I mean, all of these people are not going to be phased by hooks, to be
Simple
perfectly
chains.
honest. So that's also why he's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because he might not even show up, and if he does, changes and whips excite everyone. So, I mean, like, let's go.
Yeah.
But, that being said, our fourth spot is taken by Myers. Because
He
it's
wasn't
still
going
a
to be
man
too
with a
high,
knife.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, he is just a man with a kitchen knife. He is, or I guess with any weapon that's in his vicinity.
Yeah.
As we also
Considering his
discussed.
cosmetics also have a screwdriver and a goddamn pipe. Anything can be a weapon in Myers' hand. But we're also going up against a bioweapon and something that was manifested through guilt or fear or like negative emotion. So
The other one being the manifestation of judgment itself.
So I mean, a man with a knife doesn't really contend.
Do much.
Yeah.
Nope.
And so Myers would definitely fall to our next one up, which is Nemesis, obviously.
Our big boy bioweapon.
Our big garbage bag.
Indeed.
Hefty. Anyway, yeah. Nemesis would be next, because
For obvious reasons, he is just...
he's just a big
Well.
garbage bag.
no. Like, I keep saying it, but that's pretty much what he is. He's a giant bioweapon. He is far stronger than normal, than anything else, really. And on top of it, he has a tentacle, which I guess you can consider a factor as an extra limb of range.
It's an appendage.
An appendage. It has range.
Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway, would a bioweapon go up against, fare up against our second place? No, not really. Dorito Daddy takes our second spot. Man has a giant fucking sword, a pyramid head. It's great time. Great times. But judgment, guilt, wouldn't you guys consider that to be negative emotions? That's right. That's right. Our number one is the Dredge, who is manifested by paranoia and negative emotion.
Anger.
And sleep deprivation.
No, we're not content with it.
Listen.
Refuse to believe the man of judgment itself got beaten by a flesh ball.
Because he can just regrow all the limbs. He
okay.
can't just die.
Let's get into this specifically, because we went through everything, literally everything that could, lore wise and power wise in game. So in the lore itself, like Neko said, he is manifested by negative emotions, being like anger, sadness, like anxiety, fear, everything. And in the trials, it's pretty much everything is negative emotions, because that's what the entity feeds off of. Fear, anger, everything. He feeds off of despair in general. And that is what Dredge is. So he would consistently get some type of, power, in a sense. On top of that, there's no real way to say how many bodies he's really consumed in his whole husk or body. So let's say in this theoretical situation, Nemesis or Pyramid Head or whoever rips off a limb. I feel like he would have the potential to just regrow it back. Maybe not a really quick process, but judging by his main body being just a shadow, I don't think it's too hard to judge that he would just be able to pull more body parts and just rebuild a new arm or claw or whatever.
And that's just it. Even if you can trim off all the flesh and body, it's still going to exist as a mist.
Yeah. And that's another thing we also argued as well.
Who knows if he can possess people?
Next part
so we can't discuss already. Let's say that, Dorito Daddy cuts off Cinnabite's arm. Guess who gets to keep the arm? Yeah, that's right. Fucking Dredge.
Yeah, since Dredge pretty much just takes in body parts of, the dead or whoever is around him, he would pretty much absorb, let's say on the off chance one of the killers kills the other killer. The body's just left there, no one's going to go claim it, so who would be perfect to just claim a body and add it to its own collection? The freaking Dredge. While the Dredge I don't think would really utilize the body itself very specifically, I don't think it's going to take the freaking, Nemesis tentacle and use it as the actual tentacle. It still takes a body and puts it part of itself regardless.
It's Mori just has a bunch of things summoned from the void, even.
Yeah.
There's just way too much going on with that fucking thing. So, in theory, it being able to feed off all that, that's why it's on top. It's already surrounded by such negative emotions.
We also didn't discuss that it can manifest, demanifest, and manifest at will.
Yep.
To where pretty much anywhere it desires.
Boy gonna show up inside, hop right into your mouth and make you explode. That's what he's gonna do.
Alright. No.
Okay. So our next step is after deciding who was, the best of each tier, we had to decide which of the best we're going to win. So
the top one of each category.
That makes it Oni, Demidago, Trapper, and Dredge. Of course, sadly, we're going to put Trapper on the bottom spot for that. He is just a human with traps.
Yeah, and against a monster manifest by the Sun Flare, or is that what it's called? The Sun Flare?
Sure, why not?
I forget.
You're the one with the game open.
Well, it's not the game. It's a god. It's another god from its own series. I just forget what its name is sometimes. Well, whatever. We have a monster that's
Mind Flare?
Mind Flare. There you go. I don't know why I said Sun Flare. I think it's a fucking Pokemon at this point. Wow. The Mind. Okay.
Our next killer's a Pokemon. Anyway. When you get someone like Dago, when you get someone like the Oni, which is once again skilled samurai, second ability to be able to beat the shit out of you. A human with traps might not just be it, no?
Yeah.
That
wouldn't
also
do much.
Being said, Doggo just goes right above Trapper for, valid reasons, considering the Oni is a goddamn spirit. And could just take all the blood from, Trapper and Doggo duking it out to be able to manifest its second ability, which is apparently to beat your ass in one hit. Gotta love them.
In general, it's just to just run around really fast with a club.
True. And so that's just why they're at the bottom, man. I don't know what to say to you guys.
Well, yeah, there's nothing really much to say about it. He has a katana, which would slice through the Demo Dog, I don't think, with much effort. Like I said, he has the Enraged stage, which pretty much just can beat the shit out of whatever is in front of it. And he is also a trained samurai from his old age, or his old time, I mean. So I don't feel like a Demi-Doggo that's just kind of flails around and kind of goes for whatever would really do much.
That still being said, the Dredge still wins.
Well, yeah, because then it goes back to
feed
the
off
whole...
of everything.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of goes back to the whole thing,
Yeah.
where it's like, I don't think the katana. Let's say the katana rips something off, just probably grows it back, or at least does something else.
Dredge picks
It can
up his
manifest
fallen
and
arm
demanifest.
and bitch slaps the Oni with it. That's really just...
Yeah, it's just it can manifest, demanifest. It's just its whole thing in general, from lore to its actual abilities, kind of make it kind of an OP motherfucker.
I mean, that is to say that if cutting off any part of the Dredge makes him unable to use that part again.
That is what I assume, though. So it would make the most sense.
Assume,
I mean,
but
he
that
could
doesn't
always
mean he
just
can't just
put it back in
reabsorb
him.
it. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. There's nothing saying he can't reabsorb the flesh because it's just there now.
Well, yeah, because like I said, we assume he can. Like I said, the whole regenerating its limbs isn't much of a hard cold fact. It's just kind of an assumption from how his power works.
I mean, can you dissipate the mist? But yeah, so best the best. Sadly, the Dredge still wins. So then, because we were doing it anyway, we decided to put the worst of the worst up together. So that means we have the Hag, Freddy, Sinnoh Bitch, and Ghostface duking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Could you have guessed that Ghostface is on the bottom again?
As per usual, he is just a
He's
human
just a
person.
dude with a knife.
He's not even like Myers, who was like kind of like technically immortal and with like beyond human limitations. He is simply just a guy with a knife. It is plain as simple.
So, rip Ghostface again. So, sorry for everyone that likes Ghostface. He's sexy, but he's not.
If you expected Ghostface to be at the top killers, you either are delusional or you have just so much faith.
Silly bitch. So, next up is Hag.
Hag. Which isn't really much of a step up either, since, like you said, we don't know what other ruins do. The only rune we do know about just kind of just teleports her from one area to the other.
And then we also put against Freddy, who would use the Hag's fear against her.
Yes,
which was the what was it, the cult that captured her?
Yeah, the cult that captured and tortured her.
Probably any of the torture methods would also work, especially the more excruciating ones. Just the entire scenario being, tortured again.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Freddy can't stand up against Sinnoh Bitch.
Not really.
The fears are just gonna feed into the pleasure, that's all I'm saying. So, of course, somehow, Sinnoh Bitch is just on top. Plus, he probably gets summoned in this time. Maybe by Freddy, because Freddy... everyone has heard of Freddy versus Jason. It would just be that scenario again.
Yeah, basically.
But we decided, you want to know what would be even funnier? If we put the worst killer up against the best killer. So, we're going to have Ghostface and the Dredge duke it out.
Do you all know who wins? You guys might be surprised, but we say Ghostface.
We say Ghostface.
They say Ghostface for the most stupid of reasons.
He just doesn't really fear anything, so it won't really feed into the Dredge. I mean, stabbity and till the Dredge, does whatever. The Dredge would kind of win still, but Ghostface is just...
Kinda.
Ghostface is just... he would just have way too much
He-
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but just because he,
having fun.
but just because he doesn't feed into him doesn't mean he still doesn't just fucking exist.
Well, I mean, probably wouldn't get manifested anywhere near him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he gets manifested by fear.
But this is
Say
assuming that
it-
they're taking place in the entity's realm, where fucking
The entity can
Everything's-
just force everything. Okay. It's still Ghostface.
how. I still refuse to believe this fact that a man with a knife couldn't beat anyone else on this list, but can beat the top killer.
By just pure happiness, he takes
Yeah.
pride in killing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the fucking
There's
dredge
no-
doesn't still exist.
He has no fear.
Your argument here is the fact that just because he enjoys killing and enjoys what he does, the dredge will just be like, I'm gonna fuck off around.
No, the dredge just wouldn't be able to exist.
Like I said, they are assuming that this fight is taking place in the entity's realm, which literally is feeding the entity despair, fear, everything that the dredge feeds off of. I feel like it's completely fair to assume that it would still be there, regardless if it's Ghostface specifically feeding into its fear or feeding into its thing.
How about we say
Well-
it's a tie?
No! I refuse to leave this at the time either.
Go on.
I also hate the other argument you guys made as well. I think Nevin made the argument. I hated it so much.
What? What
Go
was it?
If I remember correctly, one of you said that like you would pull a full Ghostbusters shit and just pull out vacuum.
Yeah. All you have to do is pull out a fucking Dustbuster 3000
That was me.
and vacuum him up.
Yeah, just
You get him while he's trying to teleport and you just vacuum him up. All that
yeah,
mist
there
is
you
in the
go. His
vacuum
worst
cleaner
enemy
now.
is a vacuum cleaner. Why do you think they put one in that house?
Yeah, but
Oh,
that still
well.
doesn't fucking.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It was a 2-on-1 discussion, so I didn't really end up winning regardless.
Well, I mean, if we take into consideration why he won in the first place, he would probably win against Ghostface. If we put into consideration only lore, and we're going to assume that the dredge just gets weaker because Ghostface doesn't fucking fear him, then Ghostface might have a chance. If we put into consideration he might not be able to regenerate his body parts, Ghostface is going to enjoy tearing him apart.
Pretty much, we would have to
Exactly,
consider
he's gonna
every
enjoy
factor that
every
made
last
the
bit of
dredge,
it.
right? Yeah, but that pretty much means that, okay, for a possible chance for even Ghostface to slightly win, we'd pretty much have to take everything that makes Dredge Dredge and take it to as about as literal as we can, and assuming that he is not as strong as his lore perceives him as, or how his whole in-game power perceives him as.
Boy
That
falls
is-
apart when you hit him with a fucking plank of wood, by the way.
Yeah.
So the real
He's
winner
so
is
pissed
us
that
giving
was
FireJack a headache.
I didn't like the fact that
He's
Dredge
so
even won in
mad
his
that
own
we all
category.
correct.
Like,
Yeah,
you
he's
make it
so
seem like I'll be
mad.
content with this answer because, like, if I wasn't happy that he won in his own category against other people of his own strength, quote unquote, you want me to be happy with the fact that he loses to someone who got outbeat by everyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to give you an aneurysm.
Well, think about this too. When you put the dredge against other people, they still had fear. Like, there's still fear with them. Ghostface has no fear at all. So let's just say it's just Ghostface and the dredge. Nothing else at all. He's gonna be weakened, and like Ghostface is just gonna enjoy every bit of this.
So you're saying that Ghostface would have no fear whatsoever in this scenario?
Probably
No.
not. I mean, without... Freddy could potentially manifest the fear, but even Freddy doesn't know what specific fear is going to trigger. If you take
Well,
into consideration
but the
again,
fear
Freddy
also-
versus Jason, he had to stumble across water, being Jason's fear. He knows what, like, fucking teenagers are going to fear, sure.
But something like that's not even human.
We're also saying this is only the dredge versus Ghostface. No other killers here during this.
Okay. And is this still taking place in the entity's realm, making this the only way this is even remotely possible?
Well, if we recall, it's going to be the entity's realm, sure, but the places themselves are actual places on Earth.
No, they are places manifested by the entity.
No.
They are
No.
built.
They're-
They are built.
They're based on actual places on Earth.
Yeah, they are built off places on Earth, but the whole realm itself is built by the entity. It's not like it just ripped out a
So
place
you're
on
just
the planet
assuming
Earth.
that the dredge is going to be constantly powered by the entity.
Most likely, if we're talking about in sense of what everything is. And okay, let's say the world itself doesn't actually give the entity any real say in the matter. It's just Dredge, it's just Ghostface, no other
In a normal
anything.
fucking bar downtown.
Yeah, nothing else is interfering. No other killer, no other entity is interfering with this fight. Only the Dredge and the Ghostface itself.
Mhm.
To make the argument that still that Ghostface would have nothing to fear at all is kind of not realistic.
Well, I mean, we can assume he has a fear, but the dredge might not conjure that fear up for him.
Yeah,
just
but I feel
might
like
think
a
it's
human
cool.
being looking at something that's not at all human and that has skulls and bones peering out of it, made out of complete flesh and out of a mist, I feel they would scare the shit out of any human being.
Not really.
I don't know.
We
I
got
think I
people
wouldn't
who,
be.
Yeah, Red and I probably wouldn't be that scared. We think it'd probably be fucking cool. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think it'd actually be cool as fuck.
You
I'd
think?
admire that.
Yeah. Listen, I get turned on by scary things.
Oh,
If anything, I'm aroused.
like I refuse to take this as an answer at all.
Listen.
As a legitimate answer that you two would just be like, yeah, this
That's
guy's
your
cool.
choice.
I mean,
That's my
like,
choice.
I agree with the dredge winning, but it's also hilarious to watch you fight us.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
it
it's
is.
stupid.
It's so funny to watch you fight it.
Indeed, because I think it's stupid.
And that's the reason why it's funny, because in all honesty, it's so stupid that it's possible.
No, in all honesty, you think it's possible.
So yeah, that
Alright.
kind of concludes our stupidity here. Ghostface wins. If
It's not like
nothing
I
else.
can't argue anymore.
Nah, if you don't like what we said here, that's fine. It's
Mhm.
You probably have every right to be angry with what we assessed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not like I care.
Stay
This is our
tuned.
opinion.
Yeah, our opinion. Woo! Stay tuned when we try to figure out which survivor's actually going to last in this trial if they had to duke it out amongst themselves. We're gonna fucking get that shit right to you.
Yeah, but it
Probably
wasn't them
5
duking. I
years from
thought
now.
it was gonna be them duking.
No, it
Can't
is
they?
them duking it out.
Can't
I
they
thought it
duke
was
out?
that whoever would actually survive the trial itself. Like, who
No,
would have the likelihood of surviving?
between all the survivors duking it out in the challenge, who would be the one to survive?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's how we're going off of this.
I
Just-
guess.
okay.
Yeah.
I just say
Because
shit
it-
and see if you guys react, man. Don't ask me.
Because it sounded like you were saying you're gonna put them all in a same thing with killers. You're gonna have them all in an all-out brawl and see who survives.
Maybe.
They're all human. It's just gonna be whoever has the most strength at the end.
So it's Chris.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's obviously gonna be Chris.
It's Chris.
That man
Thank you.
built.
The man's built to please.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
is built different.
But thank you for your time if you indeed watched this fiasco. And we'll bring you the survivors in probably soon. Maybe soon. I don't fucking know. Hope you guys have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and or night. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. But it's bye-bye for now. Say bye, everyone.
Boy.
Goodbye.
Bye.